we are going to call this episode I'm Not Fucking Leaving! And the reason that we're doing that is because we are going to be breaking down and just discussing and figuring out if the discussion is even worthwhile. A bunch of prospects that Albert, Tyler, and I have not given up on. But my first guy that I'm choosing is Orlando Magic center Mo Bamba.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm still in on Mo. Now,
Give it to us.
I'm not saying that Mo Bamba is somebody who I ever expect is gonna light the world on fire as a number 1, 2, or 3 on a championship team. But I think that the situation that he entered in Orlando, having to play behind Vucevic, was a good situation for him to learn behind a veteran, but wasn't necessarily the best situation for him to develop, because Orlando was never really a good team. Even when they were getting those 8th seeds, it's what are they doing? What are they playing for? It's this middle ground, and
it was why are you getting in the playoffs? Just get a lottery pick, get out.
Exactly. It probably would have been more beneficial to get another lottery pick and let their young guys just develop and make mistakes. Now, Steve Clifford was there, and shout out Steve Clifford, Hofstra alum. He's a guy who likes to limit mistakes on the court and kind of try to win every game, as every NBA coach pretty much does try to do, even if it's not their optimal situation. But then the Magic trade Vucevic. And who do they bring in? Wendell Carter Jr. So it's another young big man who kind of needs minutes. And now they're doing this weird split the minutes thing. So what did the Magic do into free agency this year after the trade? They go and sign Robin Lopez. Reunite Robin Lopez and
Disney World
and Wendell Carter and Disney
They just
World.
signed him for security for the mascots. That's the only reason they signed him.
Right.
But I think that Mo Bamba definitely has an interesting enough skill set and physical tools that I think he's gonna find his way eventually if he gets to move on to a different situation. I look at a guy like Nerlens Noel, who kind of bounced around and wasn't really a guy who had his footing anywhere, and then got and found the right team, and now he's an integral part of New York. You mentioned Tyson Chandler earlier. Tyson Chandler was another guy where he was this guy who was supposed to be the next Kevin Garnett in Chicago.
Right.
And that's because nobody had access to high school games back then, and clearly nobody had ever watched him, and they just looked at him and saw that he jumped high.
Stats. Oh my gosh.
He was another guy that once Chicago kind of had been done with that project, he kind of struggled, he lost his way. All of a sudden he finds his way in New Orleans, right? And he's got this much better situation, and he can just go do what he does best. And I think that if Mo Bamba finds the right partner, the shot blocking is going to be tremendous. His wingspan, he's shown that he could space it a little bit, at least enough to stretch the defense. I mean, he is made up the way you would want any kind of drop big to be made up, with his length and his ability to move laterally. And if he just can go somewhere where he's playing off like a guard who can find him and make his life easier, and have a coach with a little bit of trust and developmental minutes there for him, I think he's going to be a guy who could find his way.
I'm a big believer of a new coach can change something in a hurry. And yeah, they hired Nip Mosley. He seems like he's a player coach. Bamba, I swear, every year looks like he's been putting in the work. It looks like, okay, is this the year? And he just looks like he's got some new confidence throughout the preseason. So I'm really excited to watch him. I'm buying it. I think in a weird way, it's it's the holy grail. It's the last chance for him to kind of okay, take a step forward. Also a contract year. I'm a big believer of contract years. So, okay, I'll get on board with that. That's fine.